413-418-COPS or Skype CopBlock Radio. You're listening live this Wednesday, October 22nd, 2014 at LRN.FM, the Liberty Radio Network. You can also catch us at DerrickJ.me, where you can see live video of the show, as well as a chat room where you can interact with other listeners. With me tonight, it's Scott, DerrickJ, and Dio. Hey, guys.
Hey, Scott. Or hey, how's it going? I was just going to say,
Scott.
Dio's here? I didn't even hear Dio.
Dio just popped in.
Yeah,
What's up,
and I
man?
just saw your message too, Derek, so we'll have to work that out in the break.
Rock and roll. So, over the weekend, there was a pumpkin festival here in Keene, and it was oh so quaint. I walked around, there were kids in costumes, there was music and people dancing, there were people vending food, and then I went home, made brownies, flipped on the news, and saw people rioting in the streets, flipping over cars, burning street signs, and throwing beer cans at each other. It was crazy. There was this riot happening right down the street, and then I heard a helicopter above. I was seeing national reports of the police shooting pepper spray bullets onto the students. I don't know what to think.
Yeah, I thought the only college that had riots anymore was West Virginia. I can't believe it happened in Keene.
Did you guys hear about this? I mean, I'm isolated. I live in Keene. Of course I heard about these riots. Was this really national news, or was it just my perception?
Yeah, I heard
This was a
about it.
big deal.
Yeah, we heard about it here.
Well, what did people hear about it? Because I really don't know still today what caused it. What makes rich white kids from New England wearing polos and Ugg boots go crazy enough to flip a car? I mean, what do they have to be angry about? Everyone's saying it's just alcohol. For some reason, that explanation just doesn't stick for me. I don't buy it. Something's not right there. Is it just alcohol?
I don't know. I couldn't really find any reason. Like, I knew that there was riots going on, and it was like, getting intense, and there was, thugs walking around the streets in riot gear, but I never actually caught the true reason that it actually happened. Like,
well, some
there had
people
to have been
threw
something
out
that started the fight. Like ignited the fire.
The first thing I saw about it was some kind of bottle fight.
Exactly. That's what it seems to be after I've analyzed the different scenarios, possible scenarios of what started it. Seems like it was some kids engaged in a consent, and then it erupted into something, I guess, a little more violent than that. The police decided to crack down. It seems like the police are, and I wasn't there, but from my reading of it, the police are to blame for escalating this conflict. And that is often the case with these types of riots. The people aren't dressed for a riot, but the police in riot gear are, and you get what you prepare for. So, I feel like they had this incentive to use their toys to squelch whatever was happening there. It wasn't a protest. It was clearly a riot. These people had no purpose or cause for their crazy, insane, destructive behavior. But then again, the police didn't have to run out of their pepper balls. As Ian Freeman of FreeKeene.com reported, he saw the police coming down in a phalanx, in a line together, blocking off the street, shooting at houses, shooting at people who were on porches, drinking beer in a private residence. People were hit. There was one man who was hit in the eye with one of these pepper balls. Could have gone blind, and there was no violence happening at that time. It can be seen clearly on video. So, both sides are really to blame in this conflict. Fortunately, there were some cop blockers here in Keene who were on the ground. Chris Cantwell was out there. Ian Freeman and some others captured terrific video that they've posted to freekeene.com. So there's all sorts of exclusive footage. Not only did they take their own video, Ian compiled video from other students who were taking video at the scene. He also was able to speak with one of the students and gain permission to get access to the balcony where he was able to capture video from a safe distance. This is just very courageous behavior on the behalf of the activists. And, I wish I was out there. I regret that I was too afraid to grab a camera and go out there, but I was afraid for my safety.
Well, I understood that the protesters or whatever the hell you want to call them were actually telling the activists to get the hell out of there.
At one point they were, because, you know, I think they realized maybe they were sobering up, that they had just committed several felonies on video. And at that point, they weren't so happy with the accountability.
Yeah, I was going to say that's what I saw when the initial reports of what I saw was a bunch of disrespectful kids just taking advantage of, you know, the fact that nobody was doing anything about what they were doing.
I was kind of surprised. I was waiting for them. You know, this is their big chance to break out the Bearcat. I can't believe that didn't come out.
Well, the Bearcat was in the staging area with the other police vehicles.
Was it really?
So it did come out per se, like came out of its regular storage area at the police department. Yeah, but it was not in use. So it was just driven to the scene, but not used. Fortunately,
who needs a Bearcat when you got 5,000 pepper balls?
Right.
I don't know how many they had. I don't know if that question was asked or answered by the chief of police, but it was good to see, like, you know, credit where credit's due. The chief of police, the city manager, and a handful of other bureaucrats, I believe the mayor and some others, held a press conference the day after the Pumpkin Festival riots here in Keene, New Hampshire, and they fielded questions. They originally said they weren't going to take any questions from the audience. However, there were 3 activists who attended the press conference and were able to ask questions as media. Each of them represents their own different websites. Daryl W. Perry was there with fpp.cc, Free Press Publications. Garrett Ian, a cop blocker who's traveled the country doing cop block work, writes for freeconcord.org, and of course Ian Freeman of freekeene.com. They all got to ask questions, and all of that video is available on freekeene.com.
Cool.
You were talking about how, you know, you didn't feel comfortable going out, you know, and videoing and things like that. And one thing in the video that I noticed that that Ian had put together was how many students or, you know, kids or whatever, young adults were, you know, standing in front of the police, not to like intimidate, but they were like everything they could do to get a selfie with the police in the background. It's like, you don't understand how much danger you're actually in. I kind of like felt really bad for him, because at any given moment they could have been, you know, fired upon with, you know, be it pepper balls or paintballs. You're still being, you know, shot at with something, or you could have been violently arrested because you're trying to get a picture. You know, it was kind of disheartening that they didn't really take it as seriously as I felt they should.
It's not the smartest thing to do.
No, they hate cameras, remember?
Well, I really don't know what to say about it. My immediate reaction, I mean, first, my reaction is to go down there and film. There is a video of me on YouTube already where I'm answering the call. I'm hearing it over the two-way. Chris Cantwell is down there, and he's saying, "It's crazy. I'm recording video. I'm going to need backup." And I'm like, all right, I'm on my way down. And then after a moment of reflection, I'm like, actually, maybe not. It's
Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, I want to keep
You left him out hanging there, man?
Well, there were some other people who were already on their way down there. But, you know, that's not my scene. I'm into peaceful resistance. And when people are rioting, yeah, of course I want to make sure there are independent media keeping an eye on the police, keeping an objective record, because, of course, they could have gone overboard. I think it's the fact that they know that there are going to be a handful of activists with video cameras purposely recording them, the police, and their actions the entire night that keeps their behavior in check.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like the one porch that I was watching, you know, on the video, there must have been 25 people on the porch, and at least 17 of them had their cameras out and they were video recording.
You know, speaking of cameras, Ian Freeman published an article at freekeene.com today. The Keene police turned to Liberty activists for evidence from Pumpkin Fest 2014 riots.
Kay Oliver Wayambe Women's Group in Jinja, Uganda. She gets old clothes, fixes them up, washes them, and then sells them at the Jinja
guys.
market. She was quite.
What's up, Derek? How do you want to do this? What do you want to do?
How do you want to do this? Let's connect over Google Plus Hangouts. What is your
Deal.
Okay.
And are you getting that, or you need a last name or something?
I'm trying. What is your email address?
The one.
Do you want to message it to me over Facebook?
Google's very difficult. I'm not sure what they're using as for, you know what I mean? It says DO there, but then there's I sign on as Greater Cleveland CopBlock. You can try that. Like when I sign on to Google, that's what I sign on in as is Greater Cleveland CopBlock. So. And
Cleveland is spelled Cleveland.
No.
Okay.
No. Cleveland.
I see it. Cool. There you go. Sorry, my friend James Cleveland. It's with an A, so I get confused.
Yeah.
All right. Invitation posted. I will also send you over Facebook a link that you can click to jump into the video chat.
Okay.
Scott, when are we going to get you on the video chat? Why don't you jump on video? We want to see your pretty face.
That you want me to do video with that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got to
What?
Nothing. I just got to do a little rearranging.
Post. Boom. There you go.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations?
All right, I'll see you on there.
Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
If you can't listen to the Liberty Radio Network's internet streams, free satellite channel, or radio affiliates, no worries. You can listen to LRN.FM from any phone, anywhere. Add this number to your phone.
So Scott,
493-0309.
when
call, so make sure
when we come back, I've got the KPD Turns to Liberty activist story, but
call 213-493-0309.
and there's a video for
Is
that.
Liberty dying?
So I think it will take probably the whole segment, but if it does not, I forget what story you said you had. Can you remind me?
We can go over this one, the doppelganger one with that dude in PA. No, the poor bastard that they say looks like the guy who shot the cops, but really doesn't. And he walks to work, and he's like, I lost count of how many times I've been stopped.
Oh,
poor son of a bitch.
Poor
That
guy.
sucks, man.
Okay, can you send me the link to that somehow?
Yeah.
Right.
Do you want it on? How do you want me to send it?
Over Facebook.
Right.
That would be the best.
I'll just put it in the chat.
Coolio. All right.
There is an interview with him in there too.
Okay.
There's
Oh,
a
and
video
Dio's here with us. All right, good. We're coming back in 10.
Cool.
Woo! Thank you. Got it.
Yep.
Message board at forum.lrn.fm.
Hey, Dio,
That's
do me a favor and mute
forum.lrn.fm.
yourself when you're not talking.
Does this work?
CopBlock Radio. We are live. 413-418-COP gets you on the air, or you can send a Skype contact request to CopBlock Radio. It's been a crazy week. Pumpkin Festival riots. They were unexpected. But in a way, they were expected because the police of Keene, when they requested a Bearcat, the armored attack truck, they specified that the reasoning was because of the festival like Pumpkin Fest. They said, we have large populations of people, things get rowdy, we need a Bearcat. They didn't end up using it yesterday, but they ended up needing help from the activists, specifically from their video cameras. What do you think about that, Scott?
I think that they're going to do anything they can to get their hands on the footage and make it work to their advantage.
Well, they're not gonna rip the footage out of people's hands. Fortunately, the activists here in Keene are willing to post all of their videos raw, unedited, online to YouTube, free for anyone to download. So Ian Freeman writes, the headlines are all over New England media. Keene police have released photos of suspects from the Pumpkin Fest 2014 riots. Inevitably, critics of the liberty activists in Keene and those who are confused and angry about CopBlock will tend to think liberty-oriented people are anti-police because we so frequently criticize them for various things. It's a common misunderstanding. Many in the freedom movement, including myself, value the idea of protection services, which is what the police are supposed to be. While I'd prefer competition among protection agencies and consent-based funding of the agencies, while we have a monopoly provider, as we do today, I'd prefer they investigate real crimes, and I support them when they do. Once upon a time, the government's police were referred to as peace officers, but now they are law enforcement officers, which is a whole different role and mindset. During the Pumpkin Festival riots, peace officers would have acted to stop the violence, bottle throwing, fighting, property destruction, destroying street signs, tossing cars and dumpsters, and trespass, people going unwanted onto private property. Law enforcement officers, on the other hand, arrest people for all kinds of nonsense things like open container, underage drinking, cannabis possession, and various other malum prohibitum, or victimless crimes. Every moment they spend harassing a young person for drinking or smoking is a moment they can't be investigating actual crimes that have victims. Anyway, it appears the bulk of the photos that the Keene police have released came from the video I shot, that's Ian Freeman, during the dangerous bottle war, and I experienced on Blake Street. I knew as I was recording it that the police would use the footage in their investigation. What do you guys think about that statement, that he knew as he was recording that the police would use his video in their investigation? Is that something you consider when you're recording the police?
Not really, but I think that it kind of shows that he's not just out there to, like, he's like, I'm still going to post this. He still posted it knowing that it was something that they would use to their, to help themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you think about that? Is that wrong?
No, I think that it shows the kind of person that he is, and that he actually, he's not just like, oh, I'm anti this. I'm for the right thing.
I get a lot of criticism sometimes for speaking with the police. Here in Keene, originally I'm from Philadelphia, so you see a police officer one time, you're never going to see him again in your life. Right. But you see the police in Keene, we're all on a first-name basis. I mean, I know all of them, they all know me, so we see each other in the streets, in the supermarket. It's a totally different ballgame. So I get criticism sometimes for working with the police, giving them my side of a story or giving them some video that I've shot. But you don't think that's wrong in certain occasions?
Well, it's all part of, the things are out there to be seen by everybody, right? I mean, especially the activists in Keene, you guys put everything out there in the raw form so that it can be used and seen. So, who cares who uses it?
That's my point. I feel like the video is for everyone, not just right. The citizens. It's for everyone, including police. And it's a shame that that we live in a time where the police might do horrible things with it. Like, I know a lot of people have paranoia about me walking around with a video camera all the time because they like to smoke pot. And they don't want to be on film or on YouTube smoking pot because they're afraid that the police will act against them. And so they lash out against me, don't record me. And it's like, hey man, recording you is a totally peaceful activity, and you know we're gonna want to watch this 50 years from now and be like, oh, look how fun it was that in those times, look how young we look. But then you're just angry because we live in a time where you're going to be punished, prosecuted, put in a rape cage for having the wrong piece of plant matter in your pocket.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty damn hard for them to charge and convict you with. So a video of, okay, well, do you have proof that that was weed?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Pretty hard for them,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think you're right that people's paranoia extends too far regarding the police and video recording. That if you're seen on video committing a victimless crime, have no fear. I mean, yeah, you may face consequences. I can attest to it. Yep, if you record yourself committing victimless crimes, you may face consequences. I've done jail time for it, but it's not going to be the same kind of consequences as recording yourself flipping over a car or burning stuff in people's yards unwelcome.
Beating somebody up.
Yeah, I think there's a clear distinction between crimes that involve a victim and those that don't. And victimless crimes, people don't belong in cages for committing those.
Yeah, I think that they're just kind of paranoid. Like it's hard to always be ready to be recorded.
Well, here's Ian Freeman. He says, I presume the Keene police already know about the channel Freeman TV Raw, the YouTube channel where activists upload unedited raw 1080p video files. Should you, dear reader, want to assist in identifying those culpable of violence and destruction of property, here are the raw videos that I used to make the finished video news package you saw here a few days ago. The vids are uploaded in full 1080p, so IDing people should be a little easier than trying to use the 720p package I put out on the main Free Keene YouTube channel. And all the links are at Freeman TV Raw. He also has a link about who to reach with the Keene police. All the details are at freekeene.com. And I just am so inspired. I think that's the type of personal responsibility in justice and accountability that we need to take upon ourselves if we want to live in a free society. If we want the free society of the future where we can manage our own lives, be the masters of our own worlds, and not have these authority figures ruling us and owning us, we have to prove we can do it by taking personal responsibility for justice.
Yeah, it sounds like everyone's kind of butthurt because they were doing things that they shouldn't have been doing.
CopBlock Radio.
What if the key to achieving liberty in your lifetime was to
getting
move
mad about
together
it or
with
what?
others?
Are people getting mad about what?
Liberty
About
activists
him
are
putting the
joining the
video
Free
out.
State Project, which is over 70% of the way to its goal of 20,000.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think the people who did bad things are probably mad about it. Hey,
Right.
what's up,
But
Dio?
nobody's speaking out.
David Witt and Jacob Crawford are ready to call.
Okay, cool.
I think David's trying to find the Skype information right now. So.
It's really tough. It's CopBlock Radio.
Yeah, no, I got it. We're just trying to make sure everybody's on the same page, though.
Okay.
All right.
That's a novel one.
Yeah. We also have 413-418 cops, if that works better for them.
I sent I
told that one too.
10-4.
I reached out to Carlos again and Carlos and Jeff Gray also.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, we got to get Carlos on here.
Yeah, he said he wanted to be on in May back, whenever I talked to him earlier in the year, but he was too busy.
Yes, I can hear you.
Good.
Hello.
You can hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, good.
We're going to be live in 2.5 minutes.
Okay, we also have Jason Bassler of Cop.
Excellent. Am I speaking with Jacob Crawford right now?
I think you're just speaking to me, Derek.
Yeah. Did you hear? Were you able to hear anything a moment ago?
The last thing that I heard him say was we had somebody from COP, and then it cut out.
Yes, I heard that as well. Okay.
Okay.
And Dio, you were able to hear Jacob for a moment, were you not?
Yeah, second.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, Jason Bassler on there from CopBlock also.
Okay, we'll leave that line open.
Yeah.
Because we're connected.
Yeah, David just called me. That's why I was just trying to get that on there because I'm trying to get the phone for the video and the.
I'm not hearing him anymore though.
Right, we lost him.
All right, well, they have the number, they have the Skype, so as soon as they get connected, they'll get connected.
Okie dokie.
All right.
They could be on video too. Tell them if they want to be on video.
Like I said, I'm using the phone for the video on mine, so.
Oh, you can't tell them that. I'll tell them.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah.
What? Who should I contact? Jacob on Facebook.
Yeah, if you can do that, or I can probably get you David Witt's number too. David's number is 314-885.
Read that off.
Yeah, dude.
We're live.
Okay, never mind.
Did we lose them or what?
Yeah, we did. They're calling back in.
Okay, cool.
Hey, Jacob.
Hey, you hear us?
Yep, we are back connected. If we lose connection, we can connect over Skype at CopBlock Radio.
Their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Oh, that's it.
CopBlock Radio. Dial in 413-418-COPS. Or send a Skype contact request to CopBlock Radio.
Huh?
It's DerrickJ here with you. Dio over in Ohio. Scott in PA. And now joining us on the CopBlock call-in line is Jacob Crawford. And you have another guest with you, Jacob. Who's over there with you, and where are you calling from?
I have two, and I'm going to let them speak for themselves. Hold up.
My name is David Wood. I'm from Canfield. Started a Canfield Watchman program out there in Canfield for Mike Brown.
Ferguson.
Oh, for Ferguson, excuse me.
And this is Jason Bassler with the Free Thought Project and Police to Police.
Oh, right on.
Nice. Man.
What's up, guys? Good to talk to you again.
Yeah, and where are you tonight?
We're in Oakland, California.
And what have you been working on?
Well, we all went to Sacramento today for the National Day Against Police Brutality, October 22nd, and yeah, we basically just stood and met with families that had family members killed by the police, and we went out with actually an ex-cop from he was a dirty cop way back in the day, and he's become a changed man and a whistleblower and stuff like that.
And so what's each of your connection to CopBlock or police accountability in general?
Who wants to start?
Well, actually, this is David from Canfield, Ferguson. Jacob actually came out there to Canfield, and he was doing this cop watch thing, and we just kind of bumped heads. It's a long story. I don't want to get all into it right now, but we wound up hooking up. He started telling me what cop watch was about, and I was like, man. And I told him, I said, I've been cop watching my whole life. I just ain't had no cameras, so we kind of made a big joke about that. But Jacob got right on the phone and started raising money, man. Raised over $1,000 overnight. So we can get like some cameras the next day, and ever since then it's been full steam ahead trying to get more people with cameras and trying to get that word out there that we need more citizens and more civilians with cameras watching police officers.
What kind of cameras did you decide to purchase?
Okay, so the first, with the first $1,000, Jacob had, we had agreed to get some hand cameras, and we had got 4 of them, and then the following couple of weeks, we went ahead and ordered some small body cameras, very small. It's about the size of your thumb, and it works pretty good, you know. And we got a lot of good feedback on it. I think the thing that really probably was the big news about this whole thing about giving cameras out was the fact that we actually was educating people about their rights and trying to make sure that people were using these cameras in a responsible way, you know, instead of just going out there video recording anything. We actually gave them a specific target to film, which was the police.
And what was people's reaction when you handed out these video cameras? What was that like?
Oh man, it was honestly, it was. We didn't know how people was going to take it because like it's already a kind of stigma in the communities, you know, with the with filming, you know, period. You know, it's kind of like
what stigma?
The stigma is almost like, you know, if you filming people, then you want some police stuff, you know.
Yeah, they're so scared to like film because they associate it with life.
Yes, they associate filming with something that police do. So so people just kind of shied away from it. So then that's why the class was important though. But everybody that came to the class, they came out with a better understanding about what Cop Watch is, and I think that if the whole United States really understood what Cop Watch was about, then everybody would be Cop Watchers, because we already are. You know, we like telling people. You know, it's like for those guys that's real spiritual and they be telling people they God. You know, once they find out they God, then it's gonna be pretty dangerous. Not to jump off subject, I just try to use a little metaphor.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys actually raised over $10,000 for the cameras, correct?
And we've secured 10,000 more, and then 10,000 in 6 months. So it's looking like we're gonna try to train and arm 1,000 people. And there's no shortage of people that are interested in getting the trainings and stuff, but what's been really meaningful in Ferguson has been the areas where Dade and the Campfield Watchmen have been kind of targeting. Like they first armed their community with 100 cameras, and then with the next 100 cameras, they've started training the next neighborhood over. And we got lots of video to show, like just incredible what the reaction has been.
Yeah, I was just going to ask if there's anywhere. I've been wondering, you know, I've seen everything getting sent to you guys. You guys are getting more cameras, but is there anywhere that people can go and check out the video that you guys are shooting?
Yeah, actually, we have like 2 or 3 videos that we haven't released, and we really should have by now. You know, there's a lot of things kind of forming. It's been a live project. Like initially, it was just Canfield, and then we wanted to train more people, and then some people proposed some money, so we didn't expect it to go this far and to have like, you know, the option to be able to bring this consciousness to so many people in St. Louis. So we've been a little bit lacking on the video side of it. There's been no shortage of people videotaping the police, that's for sure, and we've been developing good ways for getting this documentation where it needs to be. Before we set up the Cop Watch project, we made sure that we had legal support from the National Lawyers Guild, which has chapters all over the country that generally provide legal support for anybody arrested while protesting. And we've extended that type of political and legal support to the community at Canfield and anybody out there that's watching the police, you know, for the, you know, better of the neighborhood.
How does one acquire that sort of support from the National Lawyers Guild?
Well, it helps for you to be working for the president of the National Lawyers Guild chapter of San Francisco, which I so happen to do. And I guess that would make a moment for me to talk about myself. So I'll break it down real quick. I started cop watching in 2000, and I joined up with Berkeley Cop Watch, which was the first cop watch, not the first group that watched the cops, because the Black Panthers and the Brown Berets and the American Indian Movement, they were all watching the cops in the 60s, and people have been watching the cops as long as there's been cops. It's just the way it works. When there's oppressive things, there's people that are there to, you know what I mean, to watch and to try to stop it.
The price of liberty is eternal vigilance.
There you go. So I started in 2000. I used to go around and help groups get started. But I you know, over time, the consciousness has expanded beyond, you know, these little proactive groups that go out and watch the police. Good example is CopBlock and Peaceful. And just the idea, you know, it's not meant to be owned by any group or organization. It's meant for us all to embrace. And I think when we all watch the police the way we're supposed to, you know, we could actually start making some grounds to start making some differences in more people's lives. But I take that now to 2011 to Occupy Oakland, where a lot of stuff was happening with the police firing tear gas, and I acquired a job because I've been dealing with the police for so long. I know who they were, and so I was able to help on some pretty important cases, and then I've just been working as an investigator ever since. So
we have to step away for just a moment. Jacob, are you and your group able to hang on for another segment?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Terrific. Okay, I've got some more questions for you. I want to ask you about how you measure the impact of a project like handing out 100 cameras in a single community. Let's talk more about that. This is CopBlock Radio.
Breath.
There was a place that liberty-minded people had been
good timing on the
political
dog bark.
positions and were rolling back government. Would you?
Right on. Okay, cool. So, Jacob, are we able to get connected over Google Plus and do video?
Yeah.
Cool. What email address would you like me to use? If you could.
Ladder Film.
What's that?
Ladder Films. LADDERFILMS. ladderfilms@gmail.
Okay. There we go. Invited. So now that invitation has been posted. I'm sending you a link via Facebook so that you can join us. And if you will click that link, you should be able to join us in video as well as audio.
What? Okay, so I'm looking in my Gmail and I don't see it.
I don't know if it goes to like social or Gmail something, maybe a spam filter, but I put a link in your Facebook message. I just messaged you a direct link to the Hangout.
Oh, okay. Let me see here real quick. Sorry.
That's okay.
Is that working out with muting my microphone like that good?
It's working out perfect, Dio. Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it. It kills the ambience noise or whatever that's called, the background noise.
Sometimes it's a little hard. The icon disappears, so it's you know, I'm trying to like hover over it to keep it open, and it's just.
Yeah, there's a trick you can hit spacebar too.
Oh, okay.
I think that does it.
Yep, that does it.
Okay, you got us.
We should be joining right now.
Yeah. All right. Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. You're all looking good tonight.
Oh, all right. Yeah, well, you know, we're fresh off a pretty inspiring day, so.
Cool. So we got Dio over here on the other end of the tubes.
Hey, Dio.
Dio.
He's in Ohio.
Oh, I see him.
Okay, right. What's going on, Dio?
What's up, Dio?
How's it going? Good to see you again, Jacob. Hey, Jason, how's it going? David, good to meet you, finally.
Good to meet you.
So we got, remind me names again. We got David, Jacob, and Free Thought Project.
Yeah.
Jason Bassler from the Free Thought Project, Police the Police. I'm also a big contributor on CopBlock, the Facebook page. You've probably seen my initials down at the very bottom of the post. JB, that's me.
I know your name from you said the Free Thought Project? So.
Yeah. We've talked before.
JB's the guy that does every single fucking big meme on the internet.
Great. I'm so glad. We should talk about that.
Yeah.
We should talk about that. I think that, and
also, anytime I want to post anything, I tell Jason to post it for me.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think, we can make light of online graphics because a lot of memes are fairly sarcastic. They don't have a lot of meaning, but for some reason they're extremely popular. But I'm so impressed at how Jason has taken incidents that happen that we know about, that us as police accountability people know. He takes it, an incident that happens, he does a write-up about it, and then he creates a graphic that basically breaks it down so that somebody can just look at that graphic, they know that a person was abused by the police and this is how it happened. And he's done a really...
Hold that thought, Jacob. We're coming back live. Reintroduce us. CopBlock Radio, call in 413-418-COPS, or send a Skype contact request to CopBlock Radio. Right now we're speaking with Jacob Crawford of We Cop Watch, David of Canfield Cop Watch, and Jason Bassler of Police the Police and the Free Thought Project and much more. If you've got questions for them, the number to dial in is 413-418-COPS. Dio and Scott, of course, here with you as well.
Yep.
And we were talking about your project of dispensing 100 different cameras onto a single geographic location. And I'm curious, how do you measure the impact of a project like that?
Okay, well, I think Dave would probably best, be able to reflect on what it's been like before there were cameras and after. But as far as the way I do it as an investigator, it's very easy to take data, to see what the stop data, the arrest data, and the citation data for the last year, and then to go, after Mike Brown was murdered, and to do it for that same neighborhood. But mind you, this is a controlled environment. We have taken a community of I think it's 13 buildings, and we've equipped the community with the knowledge and the cameras, and they were receptive of it. It wasn't just a hand away. These were people that wanted it. It was something like a breath of fresh air. But for to measure it on a bigger level, like anybody that's dealing with the police, that then has the cameras is going to, actually that's where you come in. He'll tell you how it's been. You know what I mean? So
the community since Ferguson.
Yeah, so basically, having the cameras there is like it takes some time for the people to understand like what's the purpose of this thing. So there's the explaining period that goes on. Then once the people are explaining what's actually going on, then they ready to get down with it. They like, man, tell me more, So it's like once we pass that stage of like awareness, and I think that's what the whole. I mean that's what America needs, to get that awareness of an enemy that's at our door constantly, taking people out, and getting away with it, and that awareness is being raised, and it's like, man, all we have to do is this, and we can curtail it. We can't stop it, because I mean this stuff happens, people getting paid to do this stuff so that they can keep people employed, so we got to think of the big picture. But giving out these cameras to people, and I want to try to be quick. Giving out the camera, it's like it's a neighborhood effort. It's not just like me like giving out 100 cameras. I got this one young lady. Actually she's a little bit older than younger, but call her mama. She in the neighborhood. She's been at every class that we've had. She's been participating. So at this stage, we done gave her the classes at this stage because I'm like, trying to be an ambassador of a sort, trying to spread the word about, cop watching and trying to get other people the information elsewhere. So she's been running the classes. Actually, she done held 3 classes since by herself, mind you.
That's cool as hell.
Oh, here, yeah. Listen, I don't know what the numbers were before, but like the neighborhood of Canfield used to be a place where you would get jacked. You would be walking home from the main road, and the cops would stop you and give you a ticket. And the main road was even worse. And I don't even think somebody's been arrested in your neighborhood since.
Nah. They have been arrested, but more than that, we have not had one person be harassed by the police. Well, I take that back. We had one, but he did something crazy. He didn't know his rights. Police came down in our neighborhood like about 15 cars deep. They really wasn't. I mean, they came down to to get somebody, right? But they wasn't. It's hard to say what their mission was, but it was so many cop cars. We got all this stuff on film.
Yeah, I mean, the guy got freed. He basically he ran. The cops were riding in very fast, and they grabbed him and handcuffed him, and everybody surrounded him, and he got released.
That right there, Derrick. You want to know how to measure the level of the success of a program like that? That's right there how you measure the level of success of a program like that. When stuff like that is happening, and when David, when you go back to when you go back home and you look around and you see somebody being stopped by the cops, and you look around and you see like 9 people with cameras out filming the whole thing, that's how you judge the success of that program.
Exactly.
Absolutely agree.
It was huge. Oh.
Yeah, well, you know the expression, when people fear their government, there's tyranny. When the government fears the people, there's liberty. Well, I can't imagine a better scenario. It sounds a lot like the police fear the people in this situation. And it's not because they're violent or they have weapons. It's that they have cameras. Tools.
And they're not being violent. Look.
Yeah.
They don't know how to deal with people not being violent. You know, they've been trained to, attack animals. We're not no animals. We actually civilize people. We actually using our brains, and that scares them because they're a bunch of dummies, man. They don't know what the hell to do right.
So, Jason, tell me a little bit about what it's been like. I assume you've been reporting from Ferguson and from Canfield as you've been down there?
I had a chance to spend about 5 days in the Ferguson Shaw area, day after Von Darren Myers was shot. I believe it was October 8th. So the energy in the Shaw district specifically was certainly very intense. The protesters were pretty much on a whole nother level, as far as I could tell, compared to other protests I've been to. The energy was very apparent, and the cops picked up on that within the first couple hours, and things got kind of messy that night. But the whole experience in Ferguson was definitely very empowering. It was definitely refreshing to see a community who is taking action and kind of empowering themselves in this way. Definitely applaud both of these guys for doing what they're doing, because it's inspiring. I mean, people are taking notice. It doesn't matter exactly where you are in that city. It's just everybody is kind of on the same page, and they're all kind of tired of police abuse. So in that sense, it was definitely refreshing.
Now, I'm all for peaceful resistance, and filming the police is something I can totally get behind. But I'm curious what you think about this as a journalist. It was speculated on this program and others that Ferguson got as much attention as it did because of the violence and the riots that were happening. Speak to that.
Well, I live in Oakland, California, where people don't disappear in the darkness without a response. And it was the same situation with Oscar Grant. Oscar Grant was this young man that was murdered in front of a lot of people at a train station in Oakland, California on January 1st of 2009. It was videotaped. And I don't know, it was like the first few days, nothing happened, and the video surfaced. And on January 7th, people met at the area where Oscar Grant was killed, and they marched downtown and they smashed a police car, and it set off a couple nights of rebellion. And I'm all for peace too, and I wish the police would be peaceful. But I think it was the same thing with Ferguson. It wasn't people accepting a murder that made people realize.
Yeah.
And so, I think that Ferguson has had the moral high ground despite every allegation made or anything that's been said about what's happened, you know what I mean? Have people fought back? You got to understand that that they have the moral high ground in this situation. The police showed their cards. I mean, they left that young man out in the sun for 4 hours. They brought dogs in broad daylight, and they were biting at people. They came out with guns in broad daylight. They came out that night, the same thing. So they really showed what they feel about the people. So I don't mean to be long-winded about it, but I definitely think that it was.
No, certainly I agree with you. I don't. I believe that the people held the moral high ground. It's simply that I was criticized for saying these police program several weeks in a row. I caught criticism for saying these people should go home. Stop protesting. You're going to get hurt. And that's sort of the same attitude I had during the Keene riots. You know, I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I think what people should have been doing is going home and doing something productive. If you're not going to be video recording, that is. Obviously, if you're video recording the police, you're doing something productive, capturing film, producing more accountability. But I mean, they could have been home creating memes, for example, spreading ideas. Talk about that a little bit, Jason.
Well, you and me, I really would want to, because you gotta give Missouri a lot of credit for what they did do. You gotta understand, like the majority of these people that was out here protesting, one, don't really know what protesting means. Okay, so they was taught a form of protesting, so they went out and they did this thing. Okay, when the police kept on trying.
I want to hear more from you, David. It sounds like you've got some interesting insights as to what really happened, because you were there. We'll return. This is CopBlock Radio. We'll take your calls. Sorry about that.
Is coming up.
Let me mute the commercials.
Yeah, you got to pay the bills, man. You got to do the promo stuff.
Well, I muted them, and so the radio audience is hearing commercials, but we're on YouTube, and we'll just keep this going live. We've got 8-minute break now, so get water or whatever you've got to do, get comfortable. If you'd like to stay on, I'd love to.
Good. Look, I'm trying to get the message out there because you made a good point. You said that the people should go home. I feel the same way a lot of times, but then I can't say that because everybody has a role to play in this whole movement. Everybody can't be out there protesting. The only thing that I would add is that the protesters would need to get, first of all, more security down there to protect them. Okay, and that's where the cop watch movement thing comes into play. So we're trying to get down there so we can be able to watch the police when they start harassing these folks. But then the protesters need to know what their rights are, because if you got one group of protesters that's like, look, we're going to occupy the street and we're going to walk down the street and we're going to do this thing, and then you got the other group like, well, we just going to stay on the sidewalk. The police say don't go in the street. So it's like, what you doing?
Yeah.
If they don't beat your ass, we'll join you.
So they kind of defeat the purpose.
Well, I want to know more about how you did outreach, if you used any sort of particular flyer, or how you transferred this information to this massive crowd. Of how did you inform them of their rights? We'll get to that. I want to take a quick break, grab some water for myself, and I'll be back in just like 3 minutes or so. We go live at 6 after the hour, so 6 minutes after the hour. We will be back live, so we've got.
Okay. Hey, Derrick, is this being recorded though still to YouTube, or will you mic us out?
You can mute yourself. I can also mute you, but I cannot unmute you after that. So you have more control if you mute yourself.
Okay, and that's an option in my thing?
Yep. If you like scroll over the video up at the top, there should be a little.
Hover over the video up on top. There's a microphone thing.
I got it. Thank you.
All right. Enjoy. And I will put up a screen that has a QR code and just play ads. So here we go.
401ks and IRAs to solid gold and silver.
Hey, Scott, you still with us?
Free by calling 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237. Support for Liberty Beat comes from SovereignMiners.com. Interested in mining Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies? Well, Sovereign Miners has you covered. All purchases come with a free script ASIC miner. Visit SovereignMiners.com to buy your miner today. In the news, Islamic State group fighters seized at least one cache of weapons airdropped by U.S.-led coalition forces that were reportedly meant to supply Kurdish militiamen battling the extremist group in a border town, according to activists on Tuesday. The
Hey, Dio, can you hear me?
hand grenades, ammunition, and rocket-propelled grenade launchers.
Dio?
North Korea's reclusive government abruptly freed an American man on Tuesday, nearly 6 months after he was arrested on charges of leaving a Bible in a nightclub. But Pyongyang refused to hand over 2 other U.S. citizens who are still being held. The Liberty Beat has obtained exclusive access to the convenience store security camera video that captured the arrest of Antonio Beeler during the early morning hours of New Year's Day 2012. The recording validates eyewitness testimony favoring Beeler's version of what happened. Beeler getting gas at a 7-Eleven in downtown Austin witnessed 2 Austin police officers violently pull a female passenger from a car that had been stopped on suspicion of DWI. Beeler scolded the officers for their actions and took pictures of the incident, which caused the officers to retaliate. Beeler was arrested, accused of spitting on one of the officers, and charged with a felony. A grand jury saw fit to no-bill the charge, indicting Beeler instead on a charge of failure to obey, and he's set to go to trial on Thursday morning in Austin. To see the video, obtained through an anonymous source, visit the LibertyBeat.com Activist Updates section. Support for Liberty Beat comes from My Magic Mud, detoxifying tooth powder, the most effective and affordable dental care around. Jessica Armand would like to thank Liberty Beat listeners for all of their support. Get a 150 application jar at MyMagicMud.com. Did you know you can support the Liberty Beat when shopping on Amazon.com? Simply log into your account after clicking our Amazon affiliate link at LibertyBeat.com/Amazon. So do your Amazon shopping after following our link at thelibertybeat.com. This is the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, October 22nd, 2014. Check out the website at thelibertybeat.com and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/thelibertybeat. Another day, another scam, and Bitcoin is not exempt. The Liberty Beat is pleased to bring you a recurring segment exploring that issue. Here at the Liberty Beat, we're big fans of Bitcoin, but with their use comes personal responsibility to keep yourself from getting ripped off. Currently, there are 2 popular Bitcoin scams targeting users, including, according to CoinRepublic.com, so-called cheating scams. They work like this. The scammer offers to sell you airline mileage, digital or physical, but requires you to pay up front. You send the Bitcoin, and they do not deliver the goods. Some scammers will even use fake passports. Bitcoin is like cash. Once you hand it over, it's irrecoverable. Only send Bitcoin to persons or sites that you trust. The second scam of focus today is interest-paying Ponzi. Operators promise interest on your Bitcoin deposits. The method by which they claim to generate the interest varies. It could be by speculation or loaning out Bitcoin to other users of the site. But instead of paying interest, the operator pays you with new funds coming in. Now that's the same type of scam that Bernie Madoff used. Apple has warned users about attacks on its iCloud website after monitoring groups alleged that China had tried to intercept customer information from the service. Although China was not named, Apple said Tuesday it was aware of intermittent organized network attacks on its iCloud service that were designed to obtain user information. That's according to a company support page and reported by PC World. Apple said the iCloud servers are still secure, but advised customers accessing the service to always verify they're connected to an authentic iCloud website. Support for Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network. Videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. This is the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, October 22nd, 2014. I'm Brian Hagan, reporting. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
We're being attacked by news from all sides, and tonight's news blitz.
Woo! All right, how we doing? Everyone still alive? Looking good?
Still here.
Dio, you are still here. Hey, Dio, you should reconnect with me, because like your video keeps freezing or something.
It's the computer. It's the computer. It's working at 100%. The process is working at 100%.
Okay, no big deal. Cool. Yeah. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Cool. And Whose dog?
Survive the news blitz.
Is that your dog, Dio?
Tune in tomorrow morning to Today Now.
Hey, Scott, you with us?
Jim's week at the polygamy.
Oh, good. I thought I lost you earlier. Maybe you were just away at break. All right, and the boys are back. We're back.
Yeah, no, I just ran over.
CopBlock Radio, welcome back to the top of the second hour this Wednesday, October 22nd, 2014, 11 p.m. here on the East Coast. I'm broadcasting from Keene in the Shire. DerrickJ. You can catch this show at DerrickJ.me. There's live video, as well as a chat room where you can interact with other listeners. You can also dial in, take control, share your stories of peaceful resistance or police accountability by dialing 413-418-COPS or send a Skype contact request to CopBlock Radio. So with us is David, Jason, and Jacob, and they're telling us about their experience in Ferguson, Missouri. And when we left off, I was dishing a little bit of criticism to the peaceful protesters down there, saying they should go home, do something productive, make some memes and spread those around, change some hearts and minds. Don't chase rubber bullets, you get hurt. But David, you disagree. Go ahead.
Yeah, so if I could just be briefly, the thing is, man, we need those people out there in those streets, man. It helps on so many backgrounds. The fact that people that wants to get involved, they have somewhere to go. At least it's like these protesters out here. So if Tuesday they didn't want to go out and protest, Wednesday you got somebody that want to go out and protest, they could go out there to where the guys at the police station. That's one effect. Okay, every day that a protester is outside, okay, it costs the police money. Okay, especially when they don't get arrested. So that's the next thing we need to change is the amount of arrests that they getting at these protests. That's probably the only real thing that I have against that. But we need that presence out there. We need the awareness to be raised, because when you have the people the lawyers that's going to fight these cases, okay, they need those people out there that continue to support them. So let's just say a lawyer being caught was like, look, we got our army outside. They're gonna be out there until y'all give into our demands. So then, and then you got the whole cop watch thing. They keep on acting like they acting. We're gonna get them.
Well, how do you get some unity in your group? Because, like, over the break you were saying there would be a problem if there was a group of peaceful protesters on one side of the street saying, we're going to march, we don't care if it's against the law, and we're going to film, and then there's another group of people who are, like, totally disconnected and don't know the other group's plan. I mean, how do you get unity in all this? How do you even upload everyone's footage in a way that makes sense? I mean, you got 100 different cameras. How do you manage all this?
Well, you were just in the protests last week. Where you want to speak on that? Like, how did people relate? Because there's a lot of different people that have different ideas. You know what I mean? And that's isn't that the beautiful part about it though? Is that there's so many different people impacted by the police. But how did it work out where it was actually multiple protests happening across the city?
I think just having the accessibility of Twitter and having well, first of all, a lot of the organizers didn't actually give out too much information as far as where the planned actions were going to be, just because obviously the cops are going to be one step ahead. They're also watching the live streams, or also paying attention to the tweets and whatnot. So most of it, from my experience, was done kind of on the fly. We were checking Twitter a lot, trying to check hashtags, seeing where the next event was going to be. Not quite sure if that answered your question, but
well. I got two things I wanted to say. Can I say something real quick? I just want to say two things. Like, as far as the protests are concerned, like, I agree that, like, wouldn't it be great if everybody that was at the protests, were applying themselves that same energy towards their most, beautiful craft given to them, right? Like somebody like Jason making memes and Dave doing cop watch. But I think that's the really important part about protests is, like, for me, it's not about, like, it's not about the protests. I actually, I like cop watching in the street and all that as far as, like, my places to be. But protests are important because that's where you build the broad-based movement to challenge police, you know what I mean, and the things wrong with them. So you need these protests, but what you need even more than these protests is to be taking people and recruiting them. Like if it's Cop Watch, it's Cop Watch. If it's making memes, it's memes. If it's organizing and going to city council and giving them hell, then that's what it is.
What does that look like? What does it look like when you're networking on the ground? When you're walking through the crowd and you're saying, "Hey, I'm Jacob. Do you know your rights?" Or what do you say? How do you network with this, you know, huge mass of strangers?
Well, I'm gonna go to me, and then I'm gonna go to you, and that's you're gonna go. Yeah, well, no, because it also, you know, you're asking me how do I go. Well, first of all, I don't go into anybody's home and tell anybody about anything. You know what I mean? I don't think that's like my place. Like, if I'm gonna go to somebody's house, I'm gonna take my shoes off. And so in the case of Ferguson, I went out because the police were gassing people and pointing sniper rifles, and I knew what to do as a cop watcher would be to put myself in between that with a camera and document it. But as far as educating people about their rights, bang. I go into Campfield, I meet Dave. Dave has a crew of people that are making sure that their neighborhood is safe in this crazy time. We figure out that we need the cameras. We figure about the rights thing. I train them. Now they're training everybody else. And so that's how I did it. You know what I mean? So Dave, you can break it down like.
Yeah. So it's all about credibility, right? Like you can't go nowhere and just start telling somebody something. They're gonna look at you like, who the hell is you? Where you come from? Okay. Well, see, with myself, right? When the whole Mike Brown thing went down. I was one of the first protesters out there with my sign, and I was out there from day one. And so then as the movement started transforming, you know, right there in Canfield, because, you know, speaking about Canfield and speaking about West Florissant, it's two different things was happening, you know, not to separate the two, but to try to understand this was an actual neighborhood, okay? The protesters is out on public streets out there, and you know where chaos can easily, you know, come up. Anyway, so in the neighborhood, right? I had built the respect of the people. So when I came to them and I started talking to them, they were curious to what I was doing. So that was my way in. I went out there first and stood out there. Got a camera from Jacob and say, man, I'm cop watching now. They was like, what's that? And I started telling them. They say, man, can I get a camera? And I was like, well, yeah, well, do you know about this, that, and the third? And I started, so like, even a conversation about even having given the classes for Know Your Rights, that was a responsible step that we knew had to be taken, because we could have easily gave out 100 cameras in 1 week, but what we've been doing is all those people that got cameras, which is about is over 175 now, because we got one of our residents that's actually still doing classes now. So this is how this thing works, okay? First of all, what we using the body cameras for, first of all, is a deterrent from the police acting out. Okay, it's not so much as having 100 people with body cameras giving footage, because honestly, you had 100 people out there with a body camera, and the police is not going to be doing nothing. So while you thinking you will have a lot of footage to go over and look at, you're not going to have that much, because the police is going to be doing their job now.
Yeah, that's a great point about those wearable cams. They're like a defensive strategy. It's to show you've got some teeth or some porcupine quills or something, because
exactly
it's not about capturing great video. We all know those wearable cams don't capture the best video, but
right.
The threat of police knowing that they might be captured doing something wrong affects their behavior. That's beautiful. Exactly. Tell me about, do you believe this is...
Hold on, you just cut out. You might have to say that again.
Is this something that we could replicate in other cities? I mean, if the police have some crazy riot in, you know, XYZ city, could we just say, all right, let's do a fundraiser and get some cameras on the streets and get people trained using classes and knowing their rights and how to use them, and then we'll have people cop watching all over the world?
Right, that's exactly the idea. We started a national movement, actually, where we're starting to go out to these different cities, and different cities, they already have like organization base, right? And all they really need a lot of times it's just information. Like each city we go to, they're not going to have the same issue. Like we might go to some place, they might not have the issue about getting specific funding for a specific different thing. Like they might need bodies and they already have the money. So then we gotta create a situation.
Hold that thought. We gotta take a step away for a moment. You're listening to CopBlock Radio. Wow. This is amazing.
These breaks keep coming faster, and it's like, what the hell?
I know. I wish we could just get rid of these breaks. Here, I'll mute the commercials.
Right.
Because this is so great, and I don't mean to cut you off while you're on a roll.
No, it's cool. I'm just long-winded, so I'm probably gonna be the one getting cut off every time.
No, I appreciate it. Now, you guys, I want to make sure that we have time for this. You guys were at a special event today. Were you capturing video? Were you doing some outreach? I want to make sure I ask you some questions about what you did today.
No, I mean, you know, the families all knew that we were coming, and I mean, everybody kind of knows about this camera Ferguson thing that's dealing in cop watch or police accountability at this point. So people knew we were coming, and we just came to pay our respects to the families.
Okay.
But yeah.
Do you have anything this might be our final segment together? Is there anything that you wanted to close on or make sure that we get to before we leave you?
I just wanted to give a shout out to everybody, man, from Detroit. We had a lot of people from Detroit that came out last week. DC. We had people from what was that? Atlanta. You know, and then we got like tons of people from California that constantly come out. You know, and I just want to say, man, thank everybody, man. Everybody that came out there and just showed their support and showed their love. California showed their love in a big way. They had we did a march today. They had caskets for, you know, a lot of the slayings, and then they had headstones. Well, the biggest casket they had was one for Mike Brown, and they did that, you know, for Mike Brown and Ferguson, and these people, you know, was murdered in California. So I thought that was a good symbol to show that, you know, California is really there for Ferguson in solidarity, you know, and also with the other families, you know, so they were showing their support.
Will you do me a favor? Will you open with that story when we come back? I'll cue you and say, you know, like, what were you doing today?
Okay, we can do that. I can shoot it real quick.
That's amazing.
What were you just talking about too? About what was the last thing you were talking to him about?
I was talking to him about.
Yeah, before the break.
Oh, the coffins. No,
before the break. What were you just talking to him about?
What were we talking? What were we talking about before the break?
We were talking about lots of stuff. I don't know.
Right.
Hit lots of points.
Yeah, I forgot. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
It'll come to us. I'll play some commercials. We'll be back at in 1 minute, so 60 seconds.
FM. Free Talk Live.
For me, it's fighting negativity, and the negativity is my thoughts.
Hey, Theo, what is that? Did you turn on a fan or something?
Aware of when they were happening, and now when I become aware of these negative thoughts pervading my
you all right, Theo?
I immediately fight them with thoughts. Thoughts that I feed myself are positive affirmations about who I am.
Oh, Jacob, it was. Can you replicate this? Is that something you can replicate? I think that was the thing that we ended on. Oh, there we go. Hey, Jacob, I think what we ended on was.
No, we were talking about was what was the next move to do this nationally, and let me speak on that for you.
All right, cool. 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
This is CopBlock Radio, 413-418-COP. Skype, CopBlock Radio. We're chatting with David, Jacob, and Jason. They were at the Ferguson riots, and they were participating in what I consider to be a revolutionary act. handing out video cameras to the people on the streets so that they can protect themselves from police and hold the police accountable. Is that the basic idea, Jacob?
Yeah, and you had mentioned right before we went on break if this was something that could be replicable, and I actually think it is. And Dave and I, we got the support of Jason. We obviously have the support of CopBlock. We've got the support of a lot of people right now. And what we want to do is just build kind of some sort of community foundation where we can build a surplus of cameras and literature and people. And when this type of stuff happens, we can dispatch people regionally to those areas and just play a supporting role. When there's a community that's in turmoil and in pain, whatever's going on with them, that's it. And we're not there to do anything, but we're there to play a support. And so, areas that do want this, that do need these cameras, we'll have those cameras and we'll be able to dispatch them to those communities with trainings and everything. So this is something that you should be expecting to see from We Cop Watch. It's something you should expect to see on CopBlock, and I think it's the next move. I think that if the police are going to become more militarized, then we need to build up our defenses too, and get our surplus. We've done a really great job, you guys, us, all of us, at getting this information across the country and world very fast over these last few years, and that's something that we need to pat ourselves on the back. So now we need to get ourselves a little bit more prepared, as far as boots on the ground support.
Absolutely, take it to the next level. We can always be improving. So
bring it to Beaver Creek, please.
Yep, you're up on the next.
Yep.
So what were you guys spending time doing today?
Oh, so we actually went to an event. It was for the October 22nd, police brutality day, and it was cool, right? They had coffins there. It was not cool, but
but it was street theater of a sort.
It was stream theater. Good choice of words. So they had these coffins there, and they had headstones and stuff, and it was all of the slain from police from different areas in California. And they had one for Mike Brown, when they had, murdered by Ferguson police, right? And we took these coffins. I marched with them today as well, and we marched down to the what was that? The Justice Department. Yeah, so we marched down to Justice Department. People got on there, said their people's name, put the coffins in front of the Justice Department. But the thing I really wanted to say was that I really thank California for what they did. They had Mike Brown's coffin was the biggest one. So they didn't have no little, and it was different size coffins. It was like 3 size coffins anyway. But Mike Brown's was good, and I thought that was a good, token to show that, that they really do support us. They're not going to give them a little small headstone and stick it down there. They gave them a whole coffin, so they put them in the proper light. And I think that right there even shows the signal. See, that's that protesting thing. That was protesting, and what they was doing was, connecting the states. Showing that, we got protesters out here in California supporting you guys in Missouri, and I want to thank you too for looking us up and inviting us to be on your show, man, because you on the East Coast. I'm from DC, born and raised, so I'm from the East Coast, and I really want to thank you personally, for having us on, hearing our side, asking us real questions, and allowing the people to get that, and I've been meeting a lot of cool people and everybody that's contributed on some level to this movement, man. My heart goes out to all of you guys, and I just want to thank everybody and say, man, just keep doing it. We won't lose, or we can't lose unless we just stop fighting, and then we lose then.
Yeah, we had a pretty good turnout in Cleveland today too. Lots of people showed up. They had poster board pictures of all the, people who were killed by law enforcement and stuff. Oddly enough, though, they were missing John Crawford, and I didn't understand that quite. Why in Ohio they didn't have that picture?
That's right.
That doesn't make sense. I don't even know.
No,
I can't speak.
It didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, he was shot for shopping in Walmart, for Christ's sake. I mean, you know, he wasn't like running from the police with guns on him and stuff like that. You know,
I've
he
been
was shopping.
I've been really happy to see what that people have been, you know, and showing support around that murder and showing support to the family.
Let's talk about how you upload. Because fortunately, we're in a time where you can upload videos to share on the internet, to share with the world, for free, and you could do, you know, gigabytes a day. So, how do you upload videos from all of these movie cams? Do you have any sort of unity in that, or is it just decentralized?
Well, okay, so the idea, we didn't want to, like, you know, make people feel like there was some sort of ownership of this video. We set it up like this. When we train people, we said this: look, take this knowledge and use it. And when you use it well. You know what I mean? If you're going to wear this shirt, if you're going to wear that camera, you're taking part of a legacy. So, you know, that was something that we emphasized pretty hard. We also said that if you filmed something that you thought was wrong, you know, to get it to us. And when I mean us, I mean there's several people that people know to go to that, you know, will end up going to the National Lawyers Guild as evidence.
Yeah.
And then, you know, as far as like video is concerned, we educate people. I mean, look, it's important to get information out there. You know, CopBlock, you know, Police the Police, Carlos Miller. It's all about getting injustice and getting it out there for everybody to be able to see and understand. But when you're taking video, the one thing you have to understand is if you videotape something that's messed up, if you put the whole thing up online, you're giving the officer the opportunity to rewrite his report before it gets released. To say, well, what you didn't see in that video was that he was resisting, he was doing this. So my suggestion to anybody that wants to get information out very, very fast, to show that part, you know, that part that you know was wrong. Even if you know that everything building up to it was also wrong by the police, save that part. Because the officer is going to write in his report, well, that person was resisting, he did this, 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 and this. You have the video to contradict that. You can make a difference in somebody's case, you know. And so I ask everybody that videotapes the police to weigh in the balance of educating the people to defending the person that you're out there documenting that police stop for. And
thereby saving someone's life.
In the final minute, I want to hear one quick tip from each of you, your advice to cop blockers who are listening.
With watching the police? Or doing your... Okay.
Well, I'm just going to say, like I've been saying, well, man, Jacob said it best, though, man. We need more cop watchers, man, so that's what we need.
I would say to live stream, if anything ever tends to get a little particularly hairy and you don't feel like you're going to be able to keep it on your phone, live stream it, and that way you can always take that footage off the internet. It's one safe way to always make sure your footage is saved.
And just to kind of piggyback on what he said as far as live streaming, you have different opportunities. For instance, if you have a lawyer, okay, if you have a lawyer, you can have your lawyer know your stream. Put it on unlisted so that the cops don't see it. But at least your lawyer does and your community does, so they can see what happened if anything bad happens. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys. CopBlock Radio.
Attention.
Awesome. Hey, that was really slick. I appreciate it, guys. You were awesome. I wish you the best of luck. How can we follow your journey? Is there like a one particular blog, or I guess each of your Twitter accounts or something like that?
Well, the Canfield Watchman Facebook page and We Cop Watch is going to have like a special project part for it to show like the kind of day-by-day stuff. So you can see on both of those for now, and we're working on the Canfield website.
Will you ping me or send me a link on the Facebook message? I sent you the link to this Hangout. You just send me back a link to something I can link to in the show notes.
Sounds good.
Gotcha,
Jacob.
Tonight.
Yeah.
Good job.
Cool.
There's supposed to be something going on in Beaver Creek on Saturday, and if I can make it down there, I'm going to let them know that you guys are coming and shit. So.
Radical, dude. They're no longer with us. Scott and Dio, you are still here, yes?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, I'm here.
Very good. And, man, they were awesome.
Yeah, were they all
welcome.
Same mic or what?
Yes.
They were like crammed in there.
Yeah, it looked like they were all mic and screen. So yes, thank you very much, Dio, for making that connection.
Yep.
All right, so
I
Oh, we're getting a call.
Oh, there you go.
Hello, caller. Oh, still answering. The 513 area code. Where is that?
513?
I don't know. Jacob's picture came up there for a second.
Oh, really? Maybe he's trying to call in.
Yeah.
He's got something to add.
Who was that?
I don't know. I'm going to put ads back on.
.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc. As in Creative Commons.
So when we come back, guys,
You know you can get news updates about
I've
what's
got a
happening with the
bunch of fun stories. I'm sure you guys do too. So
sign up for our
what should we do? We should talk about what ones we want to go to. I like good cop stories instead of bad cop stories.
or follow us at Twitter at
twitter.lrn.fm. I got a good cop
So
story.
sign up now at updates.
Oath Keepers.
Okay. I was say it's not the damn car seat one, is it?
No, I don't know what
It
that one
changed
is.
my life. I'm never gonna forget him.
This one is
Yeah, real.
Oath upheld. Nashville cops refused Secret Service request for illegal search of Obama critic.
Yeah.
Talk about that one?
Yeah, definitely. That's the one where the chief was like, I'm appalled and stuff, right?
Yeah. Hey, area code 513. We can hear. Can you hear us? Check. 1 2. Caller. You are on the air. Check. 1 2. I hope it's not a butt dial. I think it is the same number. It might be Jacob butt dialing us. Oh well.
Lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for
Womp womp.
talk radio online.
Okay, so we've got this is a 5-minute video.
To our Google AdWords
Should I play the video?
amp.freetalklive.com.
All
That's
right.
amp.freetalklive.com.
Oh, he's calling again.
Can't be butt dialing this.
Free for us.
Might be.
You can help us cover satellite costs with the chip in on the right side of the page at LRN.
Hey, Jacob, you trying to connect?
You guys hear me?
Yep.
Constantine.
Hold your thoughts. This is CopBlock Radio. We're live. It's Wednesday, October 22nd, 2014. You can call in and take control. 413-418-COPS. Caller from the 513 area code. You're on CopBlock Radio.
Hi, you guys. My name is Constantine. Tomas. Dio told me to call in. He said you guys saw the meter maid.
Oh yeah, this is the guy who had the video of the meter maid. He was trying to. I don't know if he can pull it. I know it's in the show prep there, Derek. If you can pull it up, it's he had a meter maid on tape, and he basically confronted him, and then the meter maid just put a freaking bag over the meter he was parked at illegally.
Okay, great.
Yeah, he put a maintenance bag over the meter and then walked into the gas station. Said he was doing maintenance on the meters. I wish I kept video, but he walked away.
I'm going to play your video for the listening audience and those watching at home. So we're going to take a break to take a listen to this video. So here you are walking up to the parking enforcement. Okay. What kind of camera are you using to record here, Constantine?
It's my cell phone. It's 8219.
Well, you're parking enforcement. Right. Yeah, and you're. What? Then it's the law. We get tickets for not paying. Yes, I'm videotaping. What's your name? What's your name?
Don't worry about me breaking the law
It's
over
just
here.
justice,
Just enjoy
man.
your lunch. Hey, don't you have something better to do besides hold me accountable? I'm out here writing tickets and threatening people's cars. I'm going to steal their cars for them not paying a couple of cents in a meter. But you're the asshole because you're filming me, man.
Exactly,
What do you think about
exactly.
that? What do you think about that?
Dude, well, I mean, just that video alone. It's a simple little video. You know, I caught her on my lunch break. It just happened. It fucking pissed me off. You know what I mean? Because
What did he end up doing? Did he end up paying his meter?
No, he put that bag over it and then went to the gas station, came back to the pizzeria, told us to have he wishes we have a horrible lunch. Then he grabbed his pizza and grabbed the bag and drove off.
You know what? He can suck a bag of dicks because he
there's
cars.
In the words of Pete Error, who we showed the video to, and he messaged me back, "What a scumbag."
Yeah, what a scumbag.
Yeah, but I mean, just that simple video. He's a government official. He's a public servant. We pay him with our tax dollars, and you know the Constitution says all laws apply equally. There are no exemptions whatsoever, and that's all I see is exemptions. And that was one of the things. He thought he had an exemption because he was a government employee. He didn't have to pay that meter because he was a meter maid.
So is this something you do?
Dick of the week.
So he broke the law. 2, I asked him for his name, and he's a public servant, so he's required to give me his name, just like an officer is, but he refused to. And then he put the bag over the meter, saying it needed maintenance when it really didn't need maintenance. So that just showed corruption. Just so he wouldn't have to pay the meter, he put the bag over. That's corruption, man. That's abuse of power. And that's just a simple little case. It's a little thing. It's the parking maid. But, you know, they get away with the little things, and then they're like, if I can get away with that, let me get away with something bigger. And then they keep on going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think what it reveals is that at any level of government, the rules are for you, not for them.
Basically, yeah. I mean, that's all it is. We don't live in a free society. We're just, you know, we're peasants to them. And they are... You know, it's just, you know, they look down on us.
Where are you located?
That's the way I feel. What'd you say?
Where are you from, man? Where are you from? Where was the video shot at?
That was shot in Cincinnati, Mount Lookout. It's a little square.
Old Ohio.
Out there.
You got a CopBlock community out there? You know some people you're connected with?
No, I talked to Bernie Cox and Dio, but that's about it. I haven't really talked to anybody else.
You on Facebook? You got to get connected with some of those Facebook groups. Ohio is one of the most connected CopBlock centers, I think, of the world.
Yeah, I joined the Cincinnati CopBlock like a couple days ago, but I haven't really seen any events or anything to go to yet.
Do you always record police, or is this a new thing for you? I'm getting the impression this is like your first time recording them.
Oh, no. Yeah, me and my brother are kind of like independent activists around here. Actually, my brother, he was pursuing a lawsuit with Hamilton County down here, which is Cincinnati itself, for altering records, and the judge called him stupid and all kinds of shit on the stand, and he wanted to sue them for that. And he went and got
video of that?
Yeah,
he's got some bits and pieces here and there, but yeah, and he recently just got arrested by Hamilton County, and the reason they said they arrested him for driving with a learner's permit, which it was his motorcycle learner's permit that he gave the officer, but he has a driver's license. But they arrested him for driving on a learner's permit, and when I went to go, I had to go bail him out, and when I bailed him out, they had obstruction of justice, or resisting arrest, cracked windshield, improper display of front tag, and speeding, but they did not have driving on a learner's permit as one of the charges. You know, so it was a totally bogus arrest, and they just slapped a bunch of shit to make it seem legit. So he's going through legal battles with that right now. He's going to his third pleading arraignment because he won't plead, and they can't force him to, so they're kind of like roadblocked. But,
yeah, Jacob's been in Cincinnati as well, and it's pretty important down there.
Huh?
What happened?
He didn't hear you, Dio. There was some crosstalk. Repeat yourself.
Yeah.
I said since Jacob's been down in Cincinnati, it's pretty sporty down there. He you know, the Cincinnati CopBlock chapter is not that active out in the streets right now. It's a lot of online stuff, but I encourage you to anything that you capture to submit to them. I guarantee you they'll put it out.
Any other thoughts you want to share with us tonight?
What was that? Sorry.
I appreciate your thoughts. Anything else?
Oh, no, that's it, man.
All right. Thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate it. You can dial in 413-418-COPS or Skype CopBlock Radio. We return to the stories from benswan.com, where oath upheld. Nashville cops refused Secret Service request for illegal search of Obama critic. And this is exactly the type of good behavior that I want to see from police. You know, I'm not anti.
A good cop story.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not anti-cop. I'm not. I'm pro-peace officer, pro-law enforcement. In fact, if you're a law enforcer listening to this program, I urge you to go to copblock.org/welcome-leos. And there you'll find a welcome page where other law enforcement officers can see what CopBlock's about. And maybe you can integrate some of this stuff into your life and have a happier, healthier life where you can sleep better at night because you're not violating your own conscience. Here's this report from, I believe it's News Channel 5, investigating secret misconduct.
Fodder to attack the Secret Service with, and this will be more.
Tonight, News Channel 5 investigates uncovers stunning new allegations involving the U.S. Secret Service and an incident with Metro Police. Those allegations come directly from Nashville Police Chief Steve Anderson, who says Secret Service agents wanted his officers to fake a search warrant.
Even more disturbing, the chief says he complained to top Secret Service bosses, and they didn't seem to care.
What do you think of this so far? We've just introduced the story. You get the picture. The police have said, or the Secret Service says, we want to search these people. No, we don't have the legitimate authority to do it, and the police are stopping them.
I think it's a rarity. I can't believe it happened.
Is this representing a turning tide? Is Oath Keepers having an impact? You're listening to CopBlock Radio. One segment remains. Still time for your calls. 413-418-COPS.
This is Davi Barker from ShinyBadges.com.
Oh, I love that ad. All right, final segment. I want to make sure that I am not monopolizing the conversation, make sure that you guys get everything in that you want to share. Because I just have this story, really, and I've got other backups, but I think this is my only good cop story.
Yeah, I don't have any good cop stories. I was going to kind of prelude to next week just because we already have there's two people lined up.
Ah, yes, okay, yeah. Great.
He's coming on, and Cassandra's going to come on. She's going to go to Pittsburgh next week, and she's going to be back in time to actually make it on the show.
Excellent.
So
looking forward to that.
It's the Beaver. I wasn't that familiar with the case, but the guy was shot in Pittsburgh, and he was paralyzed, and there was a gag order issued for him, and the gag order is being lifted. So she's probably going to have one of the first interviews or conversations with him. Hopefully.
Wow.
If we have time, there's more on the diaper sniper as well.
The what? Oh, yeah.
The diaper sniper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the thing about the dude that keeps getting like accosted?
That's what I was talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been saying that he looks like him, and that they've stopped him like 20-something times.
I've got one that I want to share too. Law guy schools cop in unmarked car. I'm not sure if I'll have time for that video though. Did you guys see that this week? Guy pulls a cop over.
Was that the one where they're supposed to have like labels or something on them, or stickers, or?
Yeah, his whole thing
is logos. It didn't have logos on it.
Yeah, it was an unmarked car. His thing was I think I should be able to tell who's a police officer and who's not. I think that, if cops are using police, or if criminals are using police logos to commit crimes, then that's a serious crime, something to be concerned about. But we can't just have we can't have cops in regular-looking cars, because that trains people to think anytime some unmarked car pulls over, you got to submit to them, which is obviously too dangerous because they could be a criminal. It's likely they're a criminal. They want to pull you over and jack your car. Well, yeah, you know what I mean, but the private market kind as opposed to the public market kind. So, all right, I'll put the ads back on, and I got to grab a quick drink. I'll be right back.
Fleeting, so try to savor the next few minutes before it disappears once again. This is the Onion Week in Review. FBI officials announced they just can't bring themselves to bust a man who recently downloaded every season of the 1990s television show Picket Fences from a BitTorrent website. While stressing that pirating copyrighted material is strictly illegal, federal authorities expressed their sympathy for the man and claimed that perhaps the story of Sheriff Jimmy Brock and the strange events in a small Wisconsin town is all he has left to cling to.
We have more than enough evidence to bust him for piracy, but if the poor guy really wants to watch all 4 seasons of a 20-year-old CBS drama that nobody remembers, he's clearly going through a pretty big rough patch right now. Frankly, we don't need to make it any worse.
For statistical purposes, we have seized all private data from your personal computer, and we are disgusted with your recent... Onion.com.
That commercial's fucking great, man.
LRN.FM for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.LRN.FM.
Hey, I don't have any phone, man. What's up, man?
CopBlock Radio. We're live. It's Wednesday, October 26th, 2014. Final segment, just moments remain, but still time for your calls if you make them quickly. 413-418-COPS. We were talking about a story of good cops. I love those stories. They upheld their oath following Secret Service Director Julia Pearson's recent resignation over a major security breach at the White House. New allegations are facing the president's embattled security detail. But first, we've got an unknown caller, which is always dangerous. Go ahead with your thoughts, unknown caller.
It's me, DerrickJ.
I should have known. Welcome to the show. James in Arizona.
For now.
What have you got to add?
Well, what have I got to challenge you with? And I should like to say that I could have gone to Brandeis University as well, DerrickJ. But they would have had the same question my mom and dad would have said to me. Speaking of rich white kids going to Keene State, they would have asked, "You got the money?" And that question answered itself. So I went to a public university. But they're called
fascinating. Thank you for the call. So we return to the story.
I found $5.
According to Phil Williams at News Channel 5, Nashville Police Chief Stephen Anderson sent a scathing letter last week to the House Committee on Oversight complaining that Secret Service agents asked Nashville police officers to falsify a warrant during an investigation into a local resident who allegedly posted threatening comments about one President Obama on Facebook. Okay, so here's this guy who allegedly makes threatening comments about President Obama, and the Secret Service asked Nashville police to falsify a warrant? No, not going to fly. Williams notes that in January of 2013, Secret Service agents working out of the Nashville field visited the home of the resident who made the Facebook postings and knocked on his door. Then an agent called local police and asked for backup, stating that the individual was refusing to let them in without a warrant and appeared to be armed. When Nashville police arrived, they informed the Secret Service agents that the man in question is a licensed gun owner, did not violate the law, and that the warrant would be required in order to investigate further. Well, good on them, actually making the feds obey the law. This is not... I don't know how common or uncommon this is, but I give credit where credit's due, and these are law enforcement officers enforcing the law correctly. protecting
I'd like to know
people's rights.
how many times they've been turned down versus how many times they've asked, because this is, the only time I've ever heard of it. Is it the only time it's ever happened, or was it just kind of brushed under the carpet?
Wow. Listen to this. I think it's something that might be a little too common, because Chief Anderson said in his letter, quote, "One of the agents then asked a Nashville police sergeant to, quote, wave a piece of paper in an apparent effort to dupe the resident into thinking that they indeed had a warrant." Faced with the request to violate their oath of office and the rights of a citizen, the officers of the Metro Nashville Police Department flatly refused and left the scene. The angry Anderson then met with officials in the Secret Service Nashville's field office and asked, "Do you think it's appropriate to wave a piece of paper in the air and tell them you have a warrant when you do not?" In his letter, Anderson noted that the unnamed Secret Service official replied, "I don't know. I'm not a lawyer." Anderson then inquired as to why Secret Service agents would request Nashville police falsify a warrant if they felt it was something that they had lawful authority to do, implying that merely by asking, the agents were demonstrating their understanding that they were making an illegal request. That's a good point. These officers, if they were honest or they were investigated at any point, they would have to reveal that they had broken the law by waving this piece of paper. I mean, do they really want to help out the Secret Service? What do they have to gain when they have so much to lose by bringing bad blood to this neighbor of theirs? I mean, they live in this community. Secret Service doesn't. They don't mind screwing up someone's life. But these local cops, they're like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to get our asses chewed for that if we did that locally and anyone found out.
I'd like to know what the guy said to have the Secret Service be involved.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I would love to know what the guy said.
Well, as we've read from past reports from the freethoughtproject.com and CopBlock.org and other places, sometimes it can be something as simple as posting quotes to lyrics.
Yeah.
That can end up with a visit from the feds.
Yeah.
Well, Anderson noted that his complaint was not well received and that officials would not offer any reassurance that similar incidents would be prevented in the future. And this is corruption, plain and simple. So I applaud the individuals who stood up to it. It's always risky to speak truth to power, but these individuals who upheld their oath and ultimately the rights of the people should be applauded. Power to them. Job well done.
Thank you. Please do it again next time.
Yeah, and other cops who are listening to this, I mean, know that it's within your power to follow your conscience, to protect people's rights. You don't have to obey some higher authority, in air quotes, authority.
Yeah. Well played.
So what else you got tonight, Dio? You had an important story you wanted to share with the people.
I have one. I actually, to be on the good cop side side of the whole thing, I just posted a link in the chat there that about a Canton police officer was caught doing a bunch of bad things, and his chief basically is inviting the feds in to investigate him on account of, he wants to get to the bottom of it, and if this guy is truly guilty of the wrongdoing, to bring him to justice or whatever. So kudos to that chief as well in Canton. So yeah.
That is a good story. And Scott, you had a good one that you wanted to close on about Cody and Cassandra in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. If you guys remember, I think it was maybe a year ago now, we had Cody from the Peacekeeper app. He reached out to us and we talked again, and we're going to have Cody back on. The Peacekeeper app, I think, is now on at least 2, maybe 3 platforms, and he's gone through some beta testing, and it's getting more and more popular. I know we've touched on it a little bit over the past several months whenever it started coming out and being more available. So he's got a lot of updates he wants to give us and talk about the Peacekeeper app again. And, just kind of get the word out there. It's a really good concept, and I think that he's finally getting the execution part down. The other thing that I want to talk about was, I'm not sure if everybody knows who Cassandra Fairbanks is. She's a huge contributor at the Free Thought Project also. And she was, recently in Ferguson. She's going to be doing some traveling this weekend to Pittsburgh. There's a protest for John Crawford. She's also going to meet with, I think it's Leon Ford, if you're familiar with his case. He was actually, there's a gag order that's going to be lifted, and she's going to be one of the first people that she's going to go and meet with him and interview him. So I'm not sure how far she's going to get until she gets on with us Wednesday night, but I doubt she'll have anything back up on the website. So we'll get a kind of a sneak peek at what happened with Leon Ford's case, and we'll get a little bit more insight into what she's doing with the Free Thought Project. And she also works with the Police to Police, a community project. Man, she is just all over the place, doing some really, really good work. So we're definitely excited to have both of those folks on.
That is exciting.
We got the locked down.
Yeah, we got some good guests coming up. I'm excited about that. Let's close on this because we've had a great episode featuring cop blockers from around the country, people networking for the first time, talking about the projects and the values they share, and collaborating in a decentralized way. I think it's amazing. It's revolutionary. It's something I'm glad to be a part of. Tell me why you think it's so important to be a cop blocker today, Scott.
It's got to be us. It's not going to just change itself.
Dio, why is it important to be a cop blocker today?
I agree with Scott. It's got to be us. Ain't nobody else. They're not going to do it for themselves. They obviously can't investigate themselves or the shit. So, we got to make sure we can provide the objective record of what happened.
It's up to you. You listening here at CopBlock Radio.
You are all.
Who watches the watchers? It's an age-old question, and the answer is you. Take personal responsibility for the free and peaceful future that we all want to see. And in the meantime, remember that badges don't grant extra rights.
What if the key...